They were talking about how it's all because of us. We just need to stop complaining about stuff and just accept and consume and love it for what it is. I can't tell you how much I hate that.
So last night I was enjoying some herbal refreshment.
Fair.
And I was sitting on the toilet watching something on YouTube, and I started laughing really hysterically. And I thought to myself, shit, I'm really laughing violently. I hope this toilet is rated for my laughter. And I realized, of course it is. They've tested for this.
I would imagine.
They've tested for this. Think about the evolution of the toilet. How many genius plumbers it took to develop and refine this thing into the perfect machine that we have now. These were brilliant, brilliant men. They understood that everything that happens on this thing is funny.
Welcome to Two Gaming Dudes. Speaking of things going down the toilet.
Funny shit, I was going to say, or shit that makes you laugh. Okay, the fallout from the Acolyte cancellation.
Yeah.
All right.
So, if you haven't heard, which I can't imagine you haven't, the Acolyte is going to be canceled. They are not renewing it for a second season.
And Leslie Headland has been fired from Lucas.
Ha ha! So she will not be making any more Star Wars.
She will not be making the Acolyte Season 2.
Right?
She will not be making the spin-offs that were supposed to come from this. She will not at all be involved in the Eclipse series, which was based on this, because that whole series has been pulled.
Oh, okay.
And she will not be directing the 3 episodes of Ahsoka Season 2 that she had been hired to direct.
Oh, see, that I didn't know.
Now, a whole nother discussion about Ahsoka Season 2, because Season 1 was a pile of stinking shit. Why they... It's an edit.
Okay.
Why they bothered making a Season 2 of that, it's not important.
No, it doesn't matter.
She was slated to direct 3 episodes.
Okay.
She's been fired from that as well.
So that's not happening.
They have terminated their relationship with that woman because she sucks so bad.
Which is fair. She was not good at her job. The show was not good. No one watched it.
Why is Kathleen Kennedy still working there at Lucas?
Ooh.
The decision to fire her didn't come from Kathleen. She was her biggest proponent. It obviously came from somewhere up the chain at Disney.
If you look at Kathleen, she very much looks like the kind of person who, like, if someone above her said, "Whose fault is this?" Who's her? She totally did this. I tried to talk her out of it. I told her it was a bad idea.
Maybe you're right. Well, we don't know that for a fact, but
No, but I mean,
you don't last that long in the Hollywood studio system without learning how to cover your ass.
Yeah.
So I can believe that.
and it just wouldn't surprise me. Like, if that came out and that was indeed the case, I would not be surprised.
Well, so, I hope that the message is learned here. Your fan base is important. And this is a caveat, but the Crow remake just came out last week.
We're going to talk about that later, trust me.
There was a fanatical fan base of Crow fan, yours truly is included in this group, that are fanatical about that film. Like Big Lebowski fans.
Yeah,
or Rocky Horror Picture Show. That built-in fan base is passionate about that. And we all universally said, don't remake this film. They've been trying since the early 2000s, and we told them, don't remake this.
Yeah.
They did it anyway. On a budget of $50 million, it's earned $600,000. I'm so happy about this.
Yes.
I'm so happy about this.
And I get it. You're
Fuck
like,
me?
Oh,
Fuck you.
Oh, but so many people worked so hard on this. That's okay, because those people still got paid. So don't feel too bad about them. They're fine.
Yeah.
The ones that missed out, that are now out of pocket, that's the studio.
It's the producers.
The producers.
Who pushed it. And the executives and the investors that thought, yeah, I don't care what the fan base says, we're doing it anyway.
Yep.
Good. I'm glad you're out. $49.5 million.
Because let's face it, it's really not going to make much more money than this.
That's about it. I don't know what they make from streaming revenue when it goes to Cinemax
Next
next
to
month.
nothing.
So,
I mean,
whatever.
people aren't going to sign up for Cinemax because The Crow showed up.
Right.
So no, that's not how that works. There's weird controversy on. I call it controversy. It's really not. It's just really vocal people who are upset that The Acolyte got canceled, and they're throwing blame all over the place, including people like us. How dare us critics criticize The Acolyte? and they're trying to bring it back. They've done the whole, like, look at this petition. We've got almost 10,000 people. I'm like, well, that's great if all 10,000 people donate $20,000 apiece. You'll have the budget to make a next season. That's not going to happen. So, I don't know, it's really ridiculous, but I really hate the whole, it's our fault, it's your fault, it's somebody else's fault. It's certainly not the fault of the show.
What's a big Spielberg movie that was successful and won Oscars and made a lot of money?
Jurassic Park.
Okay. Was Jurassic Park awesome because critics saw it and said, wow, that's awesome?
No.
Or was it freaking awesome, mind-blowing, and critics were besides themselves telling people how incredible of a spectacle this is?
That's exactly it. It had nothing to do with, The Acolyte, the failure, had nothing to do with review bombing. That meant nothing.
That was a result of a shitty product.
Yes, and it certainly had nothing to do with critics. It didn't do well because it just wasn't good. So people didn't watch it. And the people who tuned in for episode 1, there's only like 15% of them tuned in for the final episode.
Yeah, boy, that's bad drop-off.
It was a huge drop-off. We weren't interested. We didn't care how this ended. No one cared.
Well, yeah, by episode 4, I think we were done.
Yeah.
And we just continued because we needed to complete the show for our show.
Right.
It was the only reason we continued. I would have been done.
Which is what most YouTubers did. They're like, well, I'll keep doing it because it's content for me and people like to watch me talk about it. But there was a lot of talk about how angry fans and these, angry quote-unquote fans. Like, there's a Rolling Stone article. I wish I could find it. But they were talking about how it's all because of us. We just need to stop complaining about stuff and just accept and consume and love it for what it is. I can't tell you how much I hate that. This is not a cheeseburger. It's not like they're all the same and it's fine. You don't get a lot of criticism over a cheeseburger because no one gives a shit. This is art. No. And art can't exist without criticism.
If I sit down at a restaurant and I order the New York strip medium rare,
mm-hmm.
and they bring me grilled chicken breast and it's raw, undercooked, by their rationale, I should just shut up, don't be a complainer, just eat the undercooked chicken.
Right.
Or should I tell the waitress, this isn't even close to what I ordered, I don't want to eat this, and send it back?
Yeah.
I'm wrong
and then,
for sending it back?
Yeah, you're going to send it back, that's fine. You still have to pay for it. No, I don't. I'm going to get up and walk out now.
What do you mean you're not coming back next week for dinner service again? You didn't bring me what I want. I don't like your cuisine. So I don't want to eat here anymore.
So there was that. It's all our fault because we criticize and we hate on it. And then that turned everybody else off and nobody wanted to watch it because people like us hated it, which is such a cop-out bullshit. But then they took it a step farther and they're like, well, it's that and it's all of the bigots out there and the racists and the people who don't like gay and lesbian characters. It didn't do well because gay and lesbian characters.
That's what burns my ass more than anything, because that is such a cheap bullshit excuse. It's maybe the cheapest bullshit excuse. You made it personal.
Yeah.
Has zero to... I'm sure there are some hard-nosed guys out there who are just assholes.
Well, sure.
Who sincerely just say, female protagonist, I'm watching that. I'm sure there are assholes,
yeah.
And there are nuts who are like, Disney pushing their gay agenda, I'm not watching this.
Right.
I'm sure there is a handful of dicks like that out there in the world.
Absolutely.
That is not the majority of the geekdom fan base.
No, because if that were the case, then Moana, what was her name?
Nimona.
Nimona wouldn't have been successful. And it was hugely successful and fantastic. We loved it. Arcane, which I know you weren't crazy about, but Arcane was one of the most popular shows on Netflix for a really long time.
I didn't hate it because the girl was a lesbian.
Yeah.
I hated it for other reasons.
You understand that both of those have a gay, lesbian main character who's also a girl boss and can take care of herself. And we love these characters.
Will and Grace was one of the most popular sitcoms of its time.
Yeah.
Don't tell me it's because bigots don't watch gay shows. Don't bullshit me.
No, and the other one is, well, if you've got gay characters and that's the whole theme, then it's just not going to be as popular as some of these other shows. To that I say bullshit, because I have seen Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel, which are insanely popular.
We did a Has Been. Some of the best shit I've seen in a long time.
And Hell of a Boss, each episode is like 70 million views.
Yeah, 1/4 of the U.S. population watched that series.
So
numerically.
Yeah, so that's not the problem.
What is it? What is the common denominator that it boils down to? If you put out shitty we didn't dislike Kenobi because Ben Kenobi is gay. There was no gay in Ben Kenobi.
No.
But the series still stunk.
Yes. It just
it's not that. Was somebody latently gay? Maybe Kamal Nanjiani. He's kind of fruity. Maybe. What kind of bullshit excuses are these? Just admit that you made shitty product.
That's what they can't do. That's what they can't do, and it's what a lot of these other fans who want so badly to defend this, that's what they can't do, is they can't turn around and just say, you know what, you're right, this really wasn't a great show.
All right, so take some fucking responsibility for your own product.
Right.
We've got videos that got a couple thousand views. We've got videos with 12 views. We don't blame the fans. Well, sometimes we'll blame the YouTube algorithm because it actively buries our stuff, but we understand what we put out.
Right.
I know when we've got a good episode and when we don't.
And we put out the bad ones anyway because we don't care, but I'll give you one more, all right? I am a really big fan of the TV series Firefly.
Oh, yeah,
I really, really loved it.
That's another small cult, ravenous cult fan base.
Yes. But my love for it was certainly not enough to sustain it. Not enough people tuned in to watch it.
Yeah.
It didn't have high ratings, so it got canceled. So as much as I love it, I can't really say Firefly was a success, because it really wasn't. Not in that sense, anyway.
No, but that fan base stuck around and stuck by it long enough that we did get a feature-length film.
That is true.
Out of it afterwards.
That is true. That had a lot to do with it.
Well, yeah.
That had a lot to do with Joss Whedon, and he was really, really tenacious about finishing his story, and
he kept the film true to the show.
Yeah.
So that loyal fan base didn't rebel.
Exactly.
We were all there, and we were like, hey, thanks for finishing up the story and wrapping it up. That was really nice.
And funny enough, the movie wasn't really like a big financial success either.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because it was really made for the fans of the TV show. He just wanted to finish that arc, which he did beautifully, and I absolutely loved it. I appreciated it. But I get it. It's not for everybody. Not everybody wants to watch Cowboys in Space. And that's fine.
That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
You can make... I don't know what the budget was on that film, but it wasn't $180 million.
It was not as much as this, no.
If you're going to cast that wide of a net, boy, you better make it as good as A New Hope.
Yeah.
It better appeal to everyone. And there's nothing fun about this. There was nothing fun about it.
No. And it was so nonsensical. Nothing in this show made any sense. And it was so boring. And
it was just doomed from the beginning because the producer, Leslie Headland, made it. She intentionally approached this from the angle of, I'm going to make a show that addresses LGBT issues. What have I been hired to do? Star Wars. Okay, take that philosophy and inject it inappropriately into Star Wars. She didn't set out to say, I've got this amazing idea about Star Wars. What if the Jedi had these corrupt, they're not as good as gold as we think they are. They're subject to the same human instincts and fallacies and faults that we all have. What if we explored that? Whoa, what a cool Star Wars story.
that would have been cool.
It started, I want to explore LGBT, gay, lesbian, witches. Where can I do that? We have Star Wars. Okay, we're going to make gay, lesbian Star Wars witch.
I mean, I really wanted to make Frozen, but I guess Star Wars will be fine too. Which, by the way, she did. She really wanted to make a Frozen series.
And you
That's
know
what she wanted this to be.
As inappropriate of a mishmash melange of genres as that is, you still could have done it.
Yeah.
You still could have done it good. You could have had the Jedi, this closed segment of Jedi, like black lesbians wielding the Force. No. We can't have undesirables. You could have played that.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, they're
It
like
wouldn't
so
fit.
many. No,
People say that doesn't really fit in Star Wars, but they did it well.
like so many projects that have shown up on Disney Plus, you can look at it and see where potential is.
Yeah.
Like there's things you could have done that could have been pretty great, but you didn't do it because that would have required a lot of work. You would have had to have looked at your writing objectively and said, "You're right. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I'm okay with a rewrite."
Take that character trait of lesbian space witches. What does that character trait have anything to do with anything in the story? How did that drive the story? That they happen to be lesbian witches.
It meant nothing.
They could have been bald white Shreks, and it wouldn't have made any difference.
No, it.
So why did you put it in there? Because you set off to make an LGBTQ show. That's fine. You didn't do anything good in any level of storytelling. So the message is lost, and it gives ammo to the side that says, see, Disney agenda. And it leaves the fan base just looking at it like, you didn't, what is this? This isn't Star Wars. So you cannot blame us.
No.
You cannot. You will not get away with it.
Well, there you go. And you can't because
And you didn't.
it's
You didn't
canceled.
get away with it.
Yep, you did not get away with it. Not only is it canceled, but now I'm starting to see, and this might be totally trolls, so take this for a grain of salt, but now I'm starting to see these rumors show up online where they're like, they might actually just yank it off of Disney Plus for tax write-off purposes, and we'll see it go the way of Willow.
I mean, you may as well. Nobody's watching it.
I don't see why not.
I mean, do they even keep track of viewership at this point?
I don't know. Like,
I mean, it's up there.
Even
but
the- even
Pete's
the-
Dragon is up there. Is anyone streaming Pete's Dragon?
even out of the people who are defending it, have any of them gone back and watched it again? I can't find a single person. Well, I can't find very many people who haven't seen it. I've seen some people who have like, I saw the first episode and
Yeah.
but I cannot find anybody who was willing to watch it more than once.
I still clearly remember episodes 1 and 2, thinking to myself, okay, it doesn't stink. Let's see where they go with this. And then it falls off a cliff. But it didn't start off as absolute garbage. It was, okay, here's Act 1. They're laying out the groundwork. Like, okay, it's a little weak, but I guess it might go somewhere. Let's see where this goes. And then we saw where it went.
Yeah.
So we didn't hate it from the beginning. I didn't hate it from the beginning. I was willing to give it a chance.
All right, so the fact that this has been canceled now, we are definitely not going to get a season 2, and Leslie Headland is out of the picture. So is this a step in the right direction? Like, is this positive? I like to think maybe it is. Like maybe somebody with a lot of money is finally coming around to, all right, this shit's not working. We're not making money. In fact, we're losing money. Maybe we should try something else. Maybe we should try making something the fans actually want. That'd be wild, huh?
I just don't know if anyone has ever, anyone in Buena Vista at Disney headquarters looked and said, let's examine what made Star Wars popular to begin with. And I'm not saying do a copy change like Force Awakens where you just tell the same story.
Right.
Find the elements that made it enjoyable to kids and their parents, to everyone, to every demographic loved Star Wars. What was it about that? Let's recreate that. Don't reinvent the wheel.
No.
Don't just take whatever is inside of you and decide, I'm going to tell that story. Find a proper, well-trained storyteller, a writer and a director, and tell a good Star Wars story.
I can see where that would be really challenging. And I used to have this problem when I was taking English courses, and they would have me read a book, and then they would ask me, what was the author feeling here? And tell me, what was the author truly implying? And I'm like, how the hell would I know? I've never met the author. I can tell you what I think about this,
Right.
but so all that analysis is kind of left up to me to figure out. But I wasn't the creator of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how well that would work.
Plus, back in English, you'd like never actually read the book too. So
That is that too, yeah.
That contributed to your 0.0 grade point average.
Reading was hard. There was a lot of words in a row.
It's tough. If it's not a comic book, he just doesn't care.
I didn't care.
Well, there we go. Some good news from Disney followed. Finally, some Finally, some accountability.
Yes. And I don't think they went far enough, but it's a start.
Well, Kennedy's got to be on the chopping block next.
Please, for
God's
let Kennedy
sake.
get on the chopping block. 'Cause
How bad can you shit on a franchise, waste money, tank the company's share price? How long do you get away with that? I mean, a couple of years,
Apparently.
evidently, but how much more do you get away with that?
Well, there you go. I'd love to know your thoughts, so make sure you leave them in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you in another episode then. Later.